Good morning, everybody. Welcome to White City Place Connect, where we're providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage, whilst supporting your well-being from the comfort and safety of your own homes. It's Wednesday again. Welcome, everybody. My name's Dora, for those of you who don't know me. We're going to begin on our mats today, just on the shins, if that's comfortable enough for you. Bringing the knees almost as wide as your mat, big toes to touch. So you have a kind of tripod shape here, a wide seated base, and turn your palms down on your thigh bones. Of course, if this isn't comfortable, if you find yourself leaning forward to avoid too much weight or pressure on the tops of the feet, you may want to swing your legs around in front of you, and you could come into a long Baddha Konasana, or a cross-legged position if that suits you better. And then bring your spine back about a half or an inch. Let your elbows soften towards the lower ribs. Maybe the hands need to slide up the thigh bones a little. Back of the neck is long, the base of the skull is lifted. And your gaze is either down on the floor just in front of you, or you can choose to lightly close your eyes. There's a sense of the weight of your pelvic bowl dropping down. The weight and length of your thigh bones. And the connection between your shins, ankles, tops of the feet and the floor, or whichever part of your body may be touching the earth. And from the navel downwards, there's a downward force. Its Sanskrit name is apana. So there's a rooting downwards from the navel. And from the navel, there's also a rising upwards. This is prana vayu, not to be confused with prana, our universal life energy. So from the navel, everything is descending, but also from the navel, everything is rising. Soften the belly. Feel the breath filtering down into the lower lobes of your lungs. And let's take the hands onto the lower belly this lunchtime. So it'll be left hand on top for women, right hand on top for men. Just cupping the hands one on top of the other around the lower abdomen, below the navel, above the pubis. And feeling the breath that's there. This deep, nurturing, grounding breath. Connecting us to our lower three chakras that concern ourselves with our presence on the earth. Concerned with presence, grounding, digestion, elimination, procreation, and a sense of safety and centeredness. Just feeling the breath rise towards and away from the palms of the hands. Allowing your mind to drop down into your body. So we're shifting from thinking and doing to sensing and being. Gently open your eyes and hinging forward here. Take the hands onto the earth, just about shoulder level. Do our cat and cow here, so pressing the palms down and forward, Round the back, draw the navel and the heart back as you exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, pull the hands towards you and extend through the spine. Maybe a little arch in the back here. Exhale, push the palms down and forward. Round the back, spread into the back of the shoulder blades, back of the rib cage. Inhale, pull the hands towards you and extend. One more time. Exhaling, scooping the lower belly inwards and upwards. Inhaling. Put the hands a little bit further forward. Keep the sit bones on the heels. And then start to walk your hands over towards the right knee. Pour the weight into the left sit bone. So your torso is moving, your hands move in relation. So your arms are reflecting the length of your side body. Sliding your right hand back, tuck the elbow in towards the outer hip. Maybe turn your left palm upwards. And there's a downward force through the back of the hand there as you stretch it forward. Keep the elbow off the floor if that's possible and lay the left side of your head, or maybe your ear on your upper arm. If that's not comfortable, or your shoulder or your hand, you can keep the palm down on the earth for a little bit more stability. Stretching around the shoulder blade into the skin there. Pushing down into the top of the palm, slide your right hand forward, walk yourself back through to the center. And your navel and your heart move over towards the left, arms follow. Pour the weight back into your right sit bone, stretching the arms forward, arms extension of the side body. Left hand slides back, elbow tucks in towards the outer hip. Maybe the right palm turns upwards. And you turn your head so the ear or cheek rests on the upper arm there. Use your back hand for support as you breathe. And pressing down to the back of the hands. Turn the palm to the floor. Slide your left hand forward, walking your hands to the center and coming up onto your hands and your knees here. You can bring your toes behind your knees, walk your hands a little bit further forward just to release the hips. 3 rotations in each direction. Inhaling, coming forward, exhaling, coming back. Shifting the weight from hand to knee to shin to knee. And then in the opposite direction. Three times. Coming to the center with the hips, tucking your toes, draw the shoulder blades up the back, lift the knees off the floor and press back through the heels. So you're in a high plank. Pushing the earth down and away from you, lift the base of your skull. And take some little circles around your 4 columns here, as if you had a pencil dropping down from your navel, drawing a little circle on the floor. And then in the opposite way, could be quite a small movement here. Come to the center, bend the knees, they don't quite reach the floor. Float your sit bones towards your heels and extend into a down dog. You can keep the knees soft, curl the armpits towards one another. Inhale, come forward into plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, bend the knees, float the sit bones back. Unfold into your down dog like a little wave. Inhaling, coming forward. Exhale, bend the knees, float the sit bones, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. Lovely. Maybe bend one knee and then the other, easing into the tissues in the backs of your legs. Or you could just be still here and breathe. Raising both heels as you inhale, sinking both heels as you exhale. One more time, working through the bones of the feet. Inhaling and exhaling. Soften your knees or bend your knees and push the mat forward as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Your feet are going to be about 2 fists apart as you hang over here in a forward fold. Press your inner thighs away from one another and your outer shins back towards the midline. So your legs are working quite strongly here to keep the knee joints aligned and toned. Bend your knees. Sit back and raise your arms into Utkatasana. High Utkatasana with the chest. This is the inhale. As you exhale, float the fingertips to the floor, press your heels down and lift your sit bones, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, come to sit down towards the heels and reach your arms forward. You may not come all the way to a squat, just wherever you can. Fingertips to the floor, lift your sit bones. Exhale, one more time. Inhale, high Utkatasana. Reaching forward, exhale, fingertips to the floor, press the heels down to lift the hips. And inhale, maybe a little bit lower towards the squat, arms just to the level of the shoulders, fingertips to the floor, and ground your big toe joints. Lovely. Looking forward along your mat and walk your hands back into your downward facing dog. Make sure you're long enough for your plank. Come forward into plank once again, shoulders over wrists, bend the knees, float the sit bones back, and unfold into your down dog, like a little wave here. A couple of breaths here. And then walking your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists, placing the feet hip distance apart. Bending both knees here. Take your right fingertips to the outside of your right foot and stretch your left arm across towards the right top corner of your mat. You're making little cups with your hands here. Maybe begin to straighten your left leg a little bit. So you're stretching all the way through the left side of the body, through that lateral fascial plane. Maybe quite strong, so please just keep the knee bent if you need to, both knees bent. Press back to the top of your left thigh, extending outwards. And then bending both knees, walk the fingertips around to the front. Take the left fingers outside the left foot. Right fingers stretch across towards the top of your mat. Begin to straighten your right leg. Stretching all the way to the right side of your body. That lateral fascial plane. Pressing top of right thigh back. And then release yourself back to the center. Leading with the heart, turn the palms out, come all the way up to standing. Come up slowly if you need to, if you get a little dizzy. We've had the head below the heart for a moment. And then draw the thumbs down your center line. Take an inhale into your heart space, exhale down into the pit of the belly. Feel the feet rooting, that apanic energy from the navel down. Pranavayu rising. Inhale, exhale, fly forward, touch the earth. Lift and lengthen your heart. Step back with the left toes into your lunge. Sweep your right leg up behind you as you inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, come forward, knee to nose. Hold your plank as you cross your right thigh in front, squeezing the thighs together. Bring the knee forward and then take the leg up, extending the toes. Bending your knee through, step the foot in between the hands. Come high onto the tips of your fingers, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Bend your back knee, it's just hovering, and as you exhale, rock onto the front heel, lifting the toes. Inhale, place the right foot back to the floor, extend the left leg. Exhale, bend the back knee, pivot on the heel, lift your front toes. Inhale, take the weight onto the right foot, extend the left leg. One more time. Exhale, back knee softens, lift the front toes. Lift yourself back onto the foot, extend your back leg. Push down through the feet so you can interlace the fingers onto the top of your thigh. As you exhale, bend your back knee. Again, it doesn't quite touch the floor. Round your back, draw the navel in, heart drops onto the knuckles. So there's a contraction in your core. Inhale, press down to the feet. Lift the heart, straighten the arms, extend the leg. Exhale, bend the back knee. Contract, heart to knuckles. Inhale, extend like a piece of elastic. Exhaling. Inhaling. Take the fingertips or hands to the floor and wrap your right forearm underneath your right knee crease. You can then take a hold of the upper arm or elbow of your left hand, extend the heart forward, press back through your heel. So it's almost like you're creating a little sling for your thigh here in this low lunge. Plant the left palm down onto the earth, turn your right toes out. And let's just take a little opening here. Hand comes onto the thigh, curl your way around, a little hip opening, little stretch for the glutes and hips. Taking it back, turn the toes in, hand to the floor, step back into a downward facing dog. Float forward into plank as you inhale, exhale, bend the knees, flip your sit bones back, extend into your down dog. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Feet are hip distance apart, snuggle the feet into the earth. Take an inhale, lead with the heart, keep your chin in, come up slowly. Arms by the ears, and this time we're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet. Turn the palms to face one another. Give yourself a moment for the body to realign itself when you're high up onto the toes. Bend the knees, reach the sit bones back, coming into Utkatasana. Take the weight to the heels as you rock back. Find that length between outer hips and little fingers, and then dive forward. Take the fingertips to the floor and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step back with your right toes into your lunge. Sweep your left leg up behind you. Inhale. Come forward, shoulders over wrists, knee comes forward. And then press the thigh back onto the right thigh, but keep your hips low in a plank. Take the knee forward, take the leg up as you inhale. Exhale, bend the knee through, step the foot in between the hands, come onto the tips of the fingers. So find a little bit of height in the chest. Bend your back knee, and as you exhale, rock back, lift the toes. Inhale, take the weight onto the foot, extend the back leg, extend the heart. Exhale, back knee bends, little Ardha Hanumanasana, lift the toes. Inhaling, rock back. Exhale, back knee bends. It's not quite on the floor. Inhaling, push down to the feet. So you receive that uplift and float the hands onto the thighs, interlacing the fingers. Hips a square. Exhale, bend the back knee. Round the back navel to spine, heart to knuckles. And then inhale, rebound like a piece of elastic. Exhale. Contract and bow. Inhale, extend. Little rebound. One more time. Exhale. Inhaling. Take the fingertips or hands to the floor. And with your left foot in front, wrap the left arm underneath the knee crease. Take a hold of the right elbow or upper arm. Push back through your heel and extend the heart forward. Like a little sling to keep that left thigh lifted. There's a really nice sense of being held, supported perhaps here, even if it's a little hard work. And then release your left hand, turn the left toes out, press the knee away, and you're going to curl your heart towards the shin as you maybe look back. Release yourself back into your lunge. Step back into a downward facing dog. Float forward into plank as you inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Float the sit bones back. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Walk your toes forward towards the backs of your wrists. Feet are hip distance apart. Come all the way up to standing. Turn the palms towards you. Rise up onto the balls of the feet. Spread the toes. Snuggle the feet into the earth. Give yourself a moment for the body to align itself. This extra height. Stay high onto the toes. As you reach your sit bones back, keep your thumbs lifted. So Utkatasana on the balls of your feet. Swing the weight back towards your heels and reach the fingertips further out. Inhale. Exhale, float the fingertips to the floor and release. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step back with your left toes into your lunge. Sweep the right leg up behind you. We're going to open up the hip, open up the belly, bend the knee and curl the heel towards the opposite sit bone. It's a reverse pigeon. Keep the weight as evenly as you can through both arms and both hands. Keep the belly lifted, especially if you have a tendency to sag into your lower back, if you're quite flexible there. Come forward with the knee to the nose, into plank. And then press the thigh back as you press back into a down dog. So you're crossing your thighs here, knee is bent, squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. Right thigh in front of the left. And simply place the ball of the right foot to the floor where it falls. Bend both knees here and just shift the weight from right to left foot. Get a nice little opening into the side ribs. So from one hand and foot to the opposite hand and foot. Lovely. Come to the center. Draw your knee forward here and then place the ball of the foot. So tuck the toes under where it falls. So it's a bit like a little half stride forward here. As you take the hips back, rock onto your right heel, raise your left leg up. This is the exhale. As you inhale, place the left toes to the floor. Come forward with the knee. Keep the toes tucked. You're articulating over the ball of the foot. Press the right heel down, raise the left leg as you exhale. Inhale, toes come to the floor. Come forward with the knee. One more time. Exhaling. Inhaling. Take the leg up and back. Bend the knee through and step the foot in between the hands. Come onto the tips of your fingers here, root down through your legs, reach your left arm forward. Let your left arm carry you into a warrior two, placing the heel down. Hips are on a 45-degree angle. So we're not trying to square the hips to the front. That will compromise my knee and it will also not allow the energy to flow through my SI joints without a little bit of a struggle or a conflict there. Make sure that when that back hip rotates forward that your toes follow suit. It's as if they're curious about what the front foot is doing. Arms are out to the sides. Turn your right palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Let your left hand rest on your thigh, sliding down towards the ankle. As you exhale, swing your hips back. Reach out as if towards a trikonasana, straighten the front leg. Left hand stays on the side body. Inhale, bend the knee, reach up and over. Exhale, swing the hips back and reach out. One more time. Inhaling. Bending the knee, making space between the hip and the armpit. Exhale. Inhaling, coming up, turning your right toes in, right arm comes up by the ear. Swivel yourself around towards the left foot. Make sure the back heel arrives upright. Bend into your lunge. Reach up with your right fingers, and you might reach up so much that there's an essence of a back bend into your thoracic spine, taking the thumb up and back. As you float your right hand to the floor, look towards your left hand as it circles up. Pull your left hip back in space. And take the hand all the way to the floor here. Step back into a downward facing dog. Come forward into a plank. Bend your knees, float your sit bones towards your heels, unfold into your down dog. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of your wrists. Soften your knees, lead with your heart, keep your chin softening inwards, coming all the way up to standing. Then exhale, fly forward to the second side, softening the knees. Lift and lengthen. Step back with your right toes into your lunge. Sweep the left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Hips are square to begin with. Start to peel your left hip up towards the ceiling, sinking your right heel. Bend the knee, heel curls towards the opposite sit bone. Little lift to the pit of the belly if you feel that you're collapsing into your lower back. Roll your left shoulder blade around and down. Shoulders are as square as they can be. The twist moves from the mid-back into the hips. And then come forward with the knee into a plank pose, shin is hovering. Press back into a down dog with the left shin in front, like a little flamingo pose. Come forward again, shin is hovering, and then tuck the toes and place the ball of the foot on the floor there. So it's possibly about halfway between your foot and your hands. As you send the weight back onto the heel, raise your right leg up as you exhale. Inhale, bend the front knee, back toes down, come into a lunge, dropping the knee. Exhaling, push the palms away, lift up your right leg. Inhaling, toes to the floor, knee comes to the earth. One more time, exhaling. Don't worry if it's a much smaller movement. You might not be able to straighten that supporting leg. Come down. And then hover the shin. Extend the leg up. Bend the knee through. Step the foot in between the hands. Push down through the feet. Come onto the tips of your fingers. Reach your right arm forward. And the right arm's going to carry you into warrior two. Back heel down. Hips on a 45-degree angle, more or less. Knee tracking over the middle two toes. Wrists reaching towards the ankles. Turn your left palm up. Inhale, slide the right hand down the shin. Exhale, straighten up, swing the hips back and reach out. My right arm stays onto the leg there. So as I inhale, right hand slides towards the ankle. Exhale, hips swing back, sucking left thigh bone into socket. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, come up, turn your left toes in, left arm up by your ear. Swivel yourself all the way around towards the right. Make sure the heel arrives all the way up here. So you can wrap that left hip forward. Reach up with your left fingertips. Maybe up and over a little bit as you take the thumb back. As you take the left fingertips to the floor, look back towards your right hand as you circle it up, pulling your right hip back in space. Twist. Take the hand all the way forward into the earth and step back into a downward facing dog. Float forward into your plank, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, bend the knees. Float the sit bones towards the heels. Floating up your hips. And walk the feet forward towards the backs of your wrists. Feet are hip distance apart. Lead with your heart, come all the way up to standing, rooting through the feet. There's that downward force from the navel, Apanada, upward lift from the navel. Pranavayu, exhale, fly forward and touch the earth. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Step back with your left toes. Float your right leg up behind you, immediately opening the hip, bending the knee heel to the opposite sit bone into a reverse pigeon. This might be enough for you today. You could hold it here. Or lift your head and look over your left shoulder. Maybe see those toes. Follow the toes to the floor. Keep your left leg straight, right knee bent. Spin the belly and the heart towards the ceiling. The palm faces upwards. A little wild thing here. Now firm the left shoulder blade into the back of the rib cage. So there's more stability for that arm. Take the hands back to the floor. Swivel back around. Knee to navel. Pulse the leg up and back. And step the foot forward in between the hands. And onto the tips of the fingers. Bring the ball of your left foot forward. So there's about a foot's distance between your heel and your big toe there. And lower the knee down so it's more or less in line with the right big toe joint. So it's like a little sprinter's lunge, as if you're about to sprint away from your blocks here. Lift your hips. Rock onto the left heel. Lift the front toes as you exhale, so you're pivoting on the heel. Inhale, place the foot to the floor, drop the knee down, look forward. Exhale, rock back, pivot on the heel. Lift the front toes, hold it here. Inhale, maybe hands come into prayer underneath the heart. Come up about halfway, 3/4 of the way. Exhale, release the fingertips to the floor. Rock back onto the foot, inhale. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, rock back, lift the toes. Engage your core, palms into prayer. Come up halfway, 3/4 of the way. Come forward, release the fingertips to the floor. And come back with knee to the earth. Exhaling, lifting the front toes. Bring the hands into prayer. Just come to a flat back. Shift the weight onto the right foot. Glue the knees together as you pick up your left toes. Reach your palms forward. Squeeze the inner thighs. Step back with your left toes and raise your prayer just slightly in front of the face. Opening up this pose into a warrior two. Right foot in front. Turn the right palm. Inhale, left hand slides towards the ankle. Exhale, swing the hips. Come towards your Trikonasana. As you bend your right knee this time, take your right hand onto your lower belly, your left hand onto your lower back, just around the sacral area. I'm hovering here so the right elbow is not touching the thigh. Draw the belly up and lengthen your tailbone away as you look perhaps up towards that top shoulder. Just gently sandwiching the lower part of your body between your hands. And floating the right elbow onto the thigh, slide the right hand onto the heart, center of the chest. Draw the heart up towards the chin, lengthen your tailbone away. Just feeling that balance between the front and the back body. Releasing right fingertips to the floor. If you want to go further, left arm rises. Or you could stay with the elbow on the thigh. Pushing into the front foot, rise all the way up. Turn your right toes in. Right arm comes up by the ear, left hand onto the sacrum, reach up. Spin the feet around towards the left. Raise up that heel. So it's right above the middle two toes here. Reach directly up, maybe a slight essence of a back bend. Take the right fingertips to the floor, hand to the floor, reach your left arm back. It can rise vertically or you can take it over by the cheek and pull your left hip back against your fingers. Keep the inner edge of your left foot grounded. Take the hands to the floor. Step back into a down dog. You can hold your down dog or flow through this little waving vinyasa, coming forward into plank. Inhale, exhale, bend the knees, float the sit bones back. Lift your tailbone. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Set the weight on both feet, soften the knees, lead with your heart as you come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, fly forward and touch the earth. Lift and lengthen. Step back with your right toes into your lunge. Sweep your left leg up behind you. Open up the hip, bend the knee, curl the heel towards the opposite sit bone. Stay here if you wish. Keep the right leg integral. Second stage will be to lift your head, look over your right shoulder. See the toes as you take them to the floor behind you. Right leg is straight. Navel and heart turn towards the sky, palm faces upwards. And then scoop the right shoulder blade into the back of the rib cage. So the muscles around the shoulder blade are supporting that more vulnerable shoulder joint. Take the hands back to the floor, knee to navel, pulse the leg back, and step the foot forward in between the hands, or help it through with your left hand if you need to. Get a little bit more height by coming onto the tips of the fingers. Bring the ball of your right foot forward. It's about a foot's length from your heel. Lower the knee to the floor so it comes almost in line with the big toe joint. Into your little blocks as if you're about to sprint off on your marathon here. 300 meters. Lift your sit bones. Rock back onto the heel. Exhale, lift the front toes. Inhale, come forward. Drop the knee to the earth. Exhaling, rocking back. Pivot on the heel, lift the front toes. Inhale, engage your core. Push down to the foot and the heel. Bring the hands into prayer. Come 3/4 or half or 3/4 of the way up. And then release down on the exhale. Inhale. Come back onto the blocks. Exhale. Rock back. Inhale, hands underneath the heart. Come half or 3/4 of the way up. Exhale, release down. Inhale. Exhaling. Come just halfway into flat back. Thumbs are lifting the chest. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Take the weight onto your left foot. Bring the knees together. Squeeze them in. Point your foot. And then reach your prayer forward towards the front edge of your mat. Step back into a high lunge. Raise your palms, melt the shoulders. Open up into a warrior two. Turn the left palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, swing the hips out, back, and reach out. Right arm stays onto the top thigh. As you rebend your left knee, take your left hand onto your lower belly, right hand onto the sacrum, draw the belly up and lengthen the tailbone towards the heel. So you're just holding that lower part of the body that we experienced earlier on in the realm of the lower three chakras. My left elbow is just hovering for now, if that's possible. As the left forearm slips onto the thigh, left hand slides onto the center of the chest, sliding the heart up towards the chin and lengthen the tailbone towards the heel. So feeling that balance between the front and the back body. You might want to hold it here, or you could float the left fingertips to the floor. Raise up the right arm. And pushing into both feet, rise up, turning your left toes in. Left arm comes up by your ear. Swivel yourself around towards the right. Make sure the whole of that foot turns so the heel rises, points up towards the ceiling. Lift up and over a little bit. Like that little back bend. Float the left fingertips or hand to the floor. Reach your right arm back. It can rise vertically, or you can turn the upper arm, bring it close to the cheek, and lift the cheek to meet the upper arm here. Pull your right hip back in space. Keep the inner edge of your right foot grounded. Take the hand to the floor and step back into a downward facing dog. Feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. Float forward into plank. Lift out down to the shoulders, firm the muscles around the shoulder blades, and spin the heels to the right so you come onto the inner edge of one foot, outer edge of the other, feet to flex. One foot in front of the other. Reach your left arm over by your cheek. Bend your knees and reach back as you exhale. Inhale, circle the arms, straighten the legs, reach out. Exhale, reach back, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten the legs as if you're skidding with the feet. One more time. Exhaling. Inhale, firm the shoulder blade into the upper back. Bend the knees and reach back on the diagonal with your left hand. Couple of breaths here if you can. Straighten the legs, take the arm up and over. Take the hands to the floor, back into a plank. Lower your knees down, flatten the feet. So the hands are a little bit further forward from the shoulders here. That should be okay. Slide on your right shin, top of the right foot as you bring your knee forward and up. Now the top of the foot stays on the floor here. So you've got quite a strong stretch to the front of the foot and the ankle, the metatarsal. Take the hips back and lift the knee towards the outer cheek. Round and lift the navel on the exhale. Inhale, come forward, bring the shin and knee down. Exhale. Take the hips back, round, contracting the belly, knee towards the cheek, outer cheek, and then take the foot down or knee down. One more time. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale here. And as you inhale, sweep this right leg up behind you, flexing the foot. You're going to take this right leg out to the side and place the foot to the floor. So I'm not mirroring you here. I don't know how it looks your end. It tends to mirror me on the screen that I'm seeing, but your right leg is extended out. Roll the inner thigh towards the ceiling as you pivot on the heels, so the toes point up towards the sky, and lower yourself down if you can onto your left forearm. Elbow more or less in line with the knee. Reach your right arm up towards the sky, and maybe you're opening the chest a little bit more. That arm could hang back a fraction. And keep rolling the right inner thigh towards the ceiling. Couple more breaths. Back of the neck stays long. And then bend in your right knee, place the foot to the floor. Take the hand inside the knee and press the knee out. Just adjust that elbow that's on the floor or wiggle the foot in a little bit if you need to. A little bit of an opening into the groin and the hip. Maybe here you could rest your cheek in your left hand. So just balancing on the elbow there. And taking the hands to the floor, lift the front toes once again. Start to walk yourself up into what's going to be gate pose. Right hand onto the thigh, left arm rises, lifting up and over as you slide the hand towards the ankle. And you're lifting the ribcage up off the waist, so the underneath side of your waist is long also. This might be enough. Or maybe you're taking the right fingertips to the floor. It could be fingertips or hand. And then taking this left arm, rotate the palm backwards as if you're pressing a curtain behind you. Bend the right elbow and look down. This is the exhale. Inhale, straighten that bottom arm and turn the palm forward. Exhale, rotate the shoulder forward, turn the palm back, exhale. Inhaling. Opening the palm towards the front. One more time, exhale. Rotate the shoulder, turn the palm back. Inhaling. Be taking the arm over. Turn the navel. And walk your hands back to the center. So I'm just going to turn sideways again so you can see this. Nothing changes for you here. Tucking your back toes under. Lifting your knee and lifting your right foot, stepping it lightly to the outside of your mat. It's on your mat, but just with the little toe edge of the foot running along the outside. So that right foot is wide, the palms can be flat down, pull the shoulder blades up the back. My right knee is still bent here. I'm going to raise up the right arm and maybe begin to straighten the right leg. It's a little variation on a twisted triangle. Couple of breaths here, lift down to that bottom shoulder. And taking the right hand to the floor, shift the weight back, float the right foot off, circle it back into a three-legged dog. Take the foot to the floor. Center yourself if you're a little bit skew on your mat. Let's take a moment of pause before the second side, lowering the knees, flattening the feet. Come into a little brief child's pose, just to re-establish your connection to the earth. Letting go of everything you've done so far. Any expectations of what's to come or how you'll feel. And next, inhale, come back up onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Make sure your feet are a little bit wider than you may normally have them as you come forward into a plank. Swing your heels to the left so that one foot is in front of the other. Reach your right arm over by your cheek. Firm the left shoulder blade onto the back of the rib cage. As you reach out, bending both knees, reach back, exhale. Inhale, circle the arm as you straighten the legs. Exhale, bend both knees. You might want to look back towards the hand. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bend both knees. Reach out on a diagonal. Firm the shoulder blade in. Maybe look up towards your right thumb. And as you straighten the legs, reach the arm over by the cheek. Take the hand to the floor, swivel yourself back around into a plank. Lower your knees, flatten your feet. Hands are forward from the shoulders. Just make sure they're comfortable enough. Slide your left knee forward. So the top of the left foot remains on the earth. Metatarsal on the earth. So you've got a dancer's foot here. Quite a stretch to the ankle or the shin. Pulse back, round the spine. Knee comes to the outer cheek. This is the exhale. Inhale, come forward. Knee comes to the floor. Exhale, lift the navel, round, contract, cheek to outer knee to cheek. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, sweep your left leg up behind you, flex the foot. Take the leg out to the side and step the foot to the floor. Roll your inner thigh, left inner thigh towards the ceiling, pivot on the heel. And then perhaps you're lowering yourself down onto your right forearm and raising your left arm up, maybe opening the chest. So reach across and out. Couple of breaths. And bending your left knee, place the foot flat to the floor. Take your left hand inside of the knee, opening up the groin and the hip as you gently press back. Maybe you rest your cheek on your right hand. You just bend the hand up to support the face, ear or cheek, just balancing on the elbow there. Keep the knee pressing away. And then releasing this, take the hands to the floor, straighten your left leg, lift the toes. Walk your hands back towards you as you come upright through your gate pose. Left hand onto the thigh, right arm rises, stretching over here. Be careful not to lock this left knee. So the thigh muscle is hugging around the bone. This might be enough, or you could take your left fingertips to the floor underneath the shoulder. As you exhale, the bottom elbow bends and you roll your shoulder forward, palm presses backwards. Let's look down as we do that. Exhale. Inhale, extend the arm, turn the palm back towards the front. Exhale, turn the palm back, look down, then the bottom elbow. Inhale, extend and open one more time. So really strong extension through that left inner thigh, hamstring, and open. Arm comes over by the cheek. Turn the navel and the heart. Walk the hands back so they're in line with your shoulders. Extend the spine. I'm going to turn sideways again. Tuck your right toes under. Push down in the hands to lift that right knee. Can you float the left foot off and just step it to the outer edge of your mat? It's on your mat. Palms might be flat. Soften the front knee or bend the front knee. Raise up your left arm. You could stay here or begin to straighten that front leg. Hug the breaths. Rebending the knee, take the hand to the floor. Shift the weight, float the left foot, circle it back into a three-legged dog. And place the foot to the floor. Lower your knees down, flatten your feet. Come into child's pose. Maybe elbows are wide, hands are resting just on the floor in front of your head so the shoulder blades can spread and the shoulders can relax. Stretching your arms out in front of you, start to curl your way up, vertebra by vertebra. You can take this slowly, tracing the fingertips along the mat towards your knees and back into your starting position, hands onto the thighs. Just take the hands behind you, lengthen your tailbone forward, press into the hands, lift your hips a fraction, or maybe a bit more, inhale, exhale, release down. Inhaling, press the shins to the floor, exhale, hips to heels. One more time, inhaling, exhaling. Empowering yourself onto your fingertips once again. Bring the knees together. Sink the hips to one side and stretch your legs out in front of you. Let's take a long Baddha Konasana. The feet are flexed. Knees wide. Lift the inner ankle bones. Hands come onto the fronts of the shins. Start to walk your hands forward as you come over your legs. You could take your fingers inside your heels or tuck them over the tops of your toes, elbows out to the side. Do a little sway or a snuggle as you coax and ease yourself forward. You may be upright, and you might let your upper body release forward here. So there's an activity in the legs and the feet. And the upper body is releasing a little, couple of breaths. You're starting to take the energy down now. Walking the hands back up the shins. Sealing the legs together. Come towards the front of your mat. curl your tailbone under and take it towards the heels. So there's a little bit of space here between your sacrum and your fingertips. Start to squeeze the shoulder blades and bend the elbows. Chin to chest. So you can start to come down like this. You get a nice little juicy release into the trapezius muscles where we hold a lot of stress. And just keep going for as long as you can. Until you turn the palms up and stretch the arms out to the sides. Take a simple twist. Either the feet can stay down and just drop the knees over to the right, or the feet can come up, knees closer towards you, dropping the knees over to the right. It will target a different area of your spine. Spread the shoulder blades. Close your eyes. Just take a couple of breaths here. Draw your knees back through to the center and take them over to the other side. Spreading the shoulder blades. A couple of breaths. Bring your knees back to the center. Place the feet to the floor and bring your arms a little closer towards your body. You could keep the knees bent, feet flat, or stretch your legs forward into full Shavasana. Snuggle, lengthen limbs out of sockets. This is your moment to let go. Feeling the weight of your skeleton, the weight of your bones. Letting the muscles lose their grip on the bones. Letting the muscles and skin of the face melt. If you would like to remain a little longer in Shavasana, then please just allow my final words to wash through you. If you would prefer to join me to conclude the practice together, and start to bring your mind back into the physical form, its weight, its shape, the space your body occupies in the room, the breath. It's gently beginning to reanimate. Just a few slightly fuller inhalations to re-engage the motion, instigate your return to the day. When you're ready, you can roll yourself over to the right side, perhaps still with your eyes closed. And and make your way back to any comfortable seat. So perhaps you would like to finish as we started. Of course, any other seated pose that works for you. And bring your hands onto your lower belly, left palm on top for women, right palm on top for men. Just cupping the lower abdomen and having a sense of the breath that's here. This deep, nurturing, grounding breath, so connecting back to the earth. Bring your hands into prayer. Bow your head to the flats of your thumbs. And when you're ready, raise your gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed day, and I hope to see some of you next Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others.